Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how to test your 9093 Honda Accord Climate Control Unit before you modify it using the EKP conversion kit. In that kit you get the harness, you get the mounting structure as you see up here. Basically you just want to test this at like a junkyard or the source where you're getting this from, just so you know you're not getting anything bad. You're going to want to test these buttons here to make sure the buttons work. Press it in a couple of times to make sure, hey, it doesn't like bounce back on you, because that, if the board's broken, it'll do that. You can also test the LEDs in the back here, and I'll show you how to do that. And these buttons down here. The only button you cannot test is the AC button. I'm not exactly sure how to do that because it's kind of relates to your fan speed, but usually this does not break. I have to be honest with you, and most CRXs don't have AC anyway, so you're not going to be using this. And also, I could provide a button that deletes this too if you're interested in getting something like that. That's what I'll be doing personally. So yeah, let me show you how to do that. So first, you have your legend here. This is legend I'll provide with you in the package. Basically, it's just showing you the pinout in a very simplistic way. This is not the way it's labeled by the manufacturer by no means, but this is the way I did it to make it very easy on myself and for you guys. So all we need is a multimeter to test this, and I'll show you how I set it up. So we're going to be testing under 200 ohms, so we're going to take the dial and go to ohms and put it to the 200 mark. All right, like that. Cool. So you see it says 1 there. And then the positive lead, instead of the DC 10 amp current, we're going to put it on where it reads the ohms right there. Okay, and so this will be testing for the continuity there in the switch. So let's put that down and go ahead, take the back of your climate control unit. And by the way, just a little tip: when you bring this into the, if you bring it to a junkyard like that, put it in your pocket or tell them it's a tool, so because they might mistake this as a part that belongs to the junkyard, because it came off a car, and try to make you pay for it or something like that. So just be wary of that. Hasn't happened to me, but I know they'll do that, just knowing them. So anyway, go ahead and plug this in, and you can see how the legend works. So we're looking from the back here, and this is the push release pin right here. As you see, that's the little push release pin to release the plug. So that's what that indicates right there. You can see that the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these 3 up here, and you can see how I have the missing pins right there on top. When you flip under, you can see the full 8 pins on the bottom there, and I labeled those 2 through 14 there. And then here's a little legend on what those numbers mean. So number 1 is always ground. So this top one here is ground. You can see there's a black wire there. That's how you know it's ground. Yours may not have a black wire, but that's okay. Just top left is always ground. Okay. So anyway, let's get started. So it's very, very simple. You're going to take your leads here, and let's say I want to test the face. Okay. So we go ahead and push that down on your unit and probe the black to black, or your black probe to ground, and then you're going to take your positive lead and watch what happens to the multimeter, right? So you're going to probe pin number 3, because that's what I have it labeled as, right? Pin number 3. We're going to be testing pin number 3, okay? And you can see like the multimeter will change because it's detecting continuity there, as you can see there, okay? Cool. So now let's say here's a proof of point here. Basically, if I press another button, you're going to see, look, it's going to turn off. See, back to 1. If I press face again, it's going to show that continuity. So that's how you know the switch works. Okay, one more thing. So let's say we want to test the the defrost vent. Okay, so pin number 13. So that's the one all the way over to the right. So okay, I take the positive lead, put it all the way to the right, and stick it in there so it touches the terminal. Okay, and then press the defrost, and there you can see it changes, which is good. So you know that's working. Okay. Now sometimes what's going to happen is that you're going to have a really high number there, and that means there's a bit of corrosion in your system. You're getting a lot of resistance. So that's one thing. If you have really high numbers here compared to what I have on mine, there's a situation where if you're like in the hundreds, basically, you might have a bad unit, and it could be a lot of corrosion and moisture that got into it. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so that's really simple. And lastly, let's say I want to test like the recirculation. So it's number 10, so I'll press the recirculation button down, and it's number 10, as you can see here, so 10 pin right there. Okay, so I'll have to go underneath. And this is not a pretty job, but you can get there. And there, boom, see that? Multimeter changes, so we know that works. So that's how you test for the buttons. You have to use the EKP kit. If you have the pigtails just snipped like that, this won't work, okay? I can promise you that. You have to use my harness. In terms of testing the LEDs, it's very simple. You're going to put this down and basically do the same thing, but you're gonna probe the little metal leads on the back of the LED, or iridescent bulb, or whatever you like to call it. I don't think it's actually an LED, but basically you're just gonna probe that and see if you get a reading. And this one is dead, that's how I know. So that there's proof that it's dead, so nothing's happening. But if I go to this one, there we go, there's some resistance in there. So it shows that there is continuity, where this one does not. So I need to change the LED on this one, for example, okay? So I'll basically just take that out and swap it out for another one, okay? And yeah, if you look, you can't really see on camera, but if you look closely, this thing has a broken filament in there. So yeah, that's basically it. That's how you test your unit. It's pretty simple. Just follow this guide and I'll provide it with you. And yeah, simple as that. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll respond. Email me or, comment on the video. Cool, thanks. Thanks for watching, bye.